In my entire life of farming, I've never seen it this bad. Here in South Australia, I've never seen it so dry, so barren. All farmers are struggling for fodder for the sheep, trying to keep the sheep alive.
I think this is a natural disaster. It's no different to the floods in Queensland and New South Wales.
Two farmers 800 kilometres apart, both struggling with the worst drought in years. The most affected areas include Western Victoria and parts of South Australia. Both regions pride themselves on dairy and livestock production, both regions desperate for rain.
Back in 23-24, we had 4 inches of rain for our growing period and a bit over 4 inches of rain right when we're harvesting, which was not much use to anyone. All the paddocks are dead, the grass is dead, so there's no value at all.
Leon Hams is 58 years old and he's been farming sheep and cereal grain for more than 40 years.
Things I love about farming is just watching things grow and producing a prime product or reaping your best crop you ever have.
But the last few years have been terrible. To put it bluntly,
I'm going to have virtually a nil income this year, the same as last year, because 23 wasn't real flash to us either.
The drought has brought with it a severe shortage of food.
If we can't have enough fodder to keep our breeding stock alive, means that we'll have to end up selling our breeding stock off. But seeing something that you put your heart and soul in breeding and to sell that before it's time, before it's ready to go, is sort of very heartbreaking.
To add insult to injury, last week large dust storms blew through farms in the district.
I've never seen a dust storm last so long and so fierce as that was. For me, it was probably the fact that it blew whatever fodder was there or grass that was there, it just swept the whole place bare.
And Leon's critical of the help that's been offered.
The government has just announced another $36 million drought relief. I don't personally think it's enough. $36 million between South Australia and Victoria is like an ice block in a cup of hot tea. It goes nowhere. The government can give Whyalla Steelworks $2.4 billion, but there's 12,000 farmers in South Australia. That's a big number, a lot more than Whyalla Steelworks. No, I'm not even talking about Victoria yet.
Across the border, the sentiment is similar.
The government employees seem to think that let's just hope it rains, and it's almost like they want it to go away so that they don't have to do the work.
Bernie Free is the president of the United Dairy Farmers of Victoria. His family's been working the land for 2 generations.
When I talk to dairy farmers, there is anger out there, there's frustration, and there's really despair in some of them because they don't see the government stepping up and they don't have any answers to their problem of feeding their animals. This is the hay that came in the other day, and that's about 10 days worth, so we'll need to look at getting some more. It's been terrible for 2.5 years, and the last 6 months it's just got even worse. To find hay in Western Victoria is nearly impossible. The amount of fibre which is in hay that dairy cows and other cattle need every day to survive is quite large. We can supplement some of that with grain and those sort of products, but we cannot substitute all of it. In 35 years, I've never seen a situation like this.
To put it into perspective, the daily diet of a dairy cow consists of up to 20 kilograms of dry food high in fibre, of which 50% should be hay. They consume anywhere from 80 to 150 litres of water, but this can be as high as 250 litres in hotter months. Most dairy farmers have hundreds of cows.
The logistics of doing this is extremely hard on the farmer, but then we're also putting a lot of pressure on other people because they know how important it is to us to get water and to get feed to them.
Like their South Australian neighbours, the pressures of trying to feed and water their animals has led many farmers to have to make tough decisions.
If you don't think they're going to last 12 months, they've got to go. And now we're into this time of the year where I've heard of people that have spring calving cows, they're just drying them off and sending them straight to the abattoir. And that's a major impact on their income, which then has a major impact on the community.
Without a workable solution, the future of these regions looks bleak.
Farmers really do have a connection to their community that they work in. We need those people to survive so that we've got a rural store and a bakery and all of those things that city people take for granted.
If it doesn't rain, the next 6 months, I'm not sure where I'm going to be, but it gives me a horrible feeling in my stomach, about having to sell my farm and, not hand it down to the next generation. If you're forced to sell, you're forced to sell. You've got no choice in it.
And Bernie and Leon have summed that up so succinctly there. Farmers need more support. They are in desperate need of it right now because you can't just think, oh, no, as soon as it starts raining, it's going to be okay, because sometimes it starts raining, it doesn't stop raining. And then any feed that you were able to store gets washed away, which is what happened with the floods recently in New South Wales. We were crossing to farmers in Taree. And they're just there with their head in their hands being like, what next? Then a dust storm comes through. I mean, they just keep getting belted and belted and belted.
Like, tough job, only getting tougher.
Yes.
And it must be, like, as you watch that footage, it must be so hard for people living in other parts of the country where it is the floods, where it's just constant rain, to even imagine. But this is a big deal for the whole country. Like, Victoria's a tiny state. It's 3%, I think, of the landmass. It produces more than 30% of our food. So the consequences...
Everyone.
Totally.